Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now, do you remember in the last episode when I turned around and said I've made the decision to sell my Africa Twin? Well, I have. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to prep it for sale because I've decided the longer I wait, the more I'm going to want to keep it and I need to move on. So one of the things I said was I'm going to change the battery because the battery in this, I don't know how long it's been in it. I reckon it sounds like it's a little bit weak when it starts. So I decided to go all out and change the battery for a gel one. So we're going to do that today. As you can see as well, it desperately needs a clean to get it ready and we need to photograph it, etc, etc. So I thought I'd bring you along with me while we prepare this for its next owner. The only annoying thing is, look, it's a beautiful sunny day and I'm missing out riding. But anyway, right, let me show you where the battery is put on the Africa Twin because it's in a bit of a weird place and can be a little bit awkward. But anyway, let's do it. Inside here is the battery and it's like on its side. It's in a really weird place. So when you go to wire stuff up, you have to kind of have a lead coming up underneath your seat so you can get things nice and easy. Hence why I've put a Thunderbox system on this, because then that way I can just connect all those accessories super easy, knowing that when it goes under, Jesus, what is going on with that? That is well over tightened. Right, let's try with an old-fashioned Allen key because that tool is not quite right. No, even that's not either. What the heck? Why is nothing easy? Bigger. Okay, so I've just skipped forwards by about 2 days because things went a little bit wrong just trying to take off the battery cover on the Africa Twin. Let me explain. So just here, this is the battery cover and these used to be black. And when I tried to undo it, they literally turned pretty easily and they were super too tight. So what I did was I tried to get them off and I couldn't. So I was like, right, I need to get an extraction tool. So I was going to go to my Halfords to try to grab an extraction tool, and then I thought, do you know what I need to do is ring the sidekick, that's Darren, who's been on this channel for years and years and years, say to him, have you got one? Save me the bother of paying for one. And of course what Darren did was like, I tell you what, I'm busy now, but what I can do is come round tomorrow. So he came round and even he tried using a multiple set of tools to try and get it off. We ended up getting off both of these and getting into the battery, but just before we disconnected it, we did this thing of putting the key into the ignition and this happened. Nothing, absolutely nothing. And I was thinking, oh, do you know what? I should change the battery because it's getting old. I was like, okay, no big deal. The battery's finally given up the ghost. I was a little bit concerned because we had nothing. So anyway, no big deal. So we just carried on going, do you know what, let's get this battery trained for this nice shiny new one. Now I went for a gel battery on purpose because apparently it's loads better, it sort of maintains itself, doesn't discharge and all this sort of stuff. It was absolutely awesome. So I was like, brilliant, cool, expensive gel battery in. So we removed the old battery. As you can see, this is a decent one. I don't think it's the original one, but it could be. It was covered in dust, as you can see. And well, it just looks really old. So it's happy days. We'll change the battery. We messed around. We even went and got me some new bolts to put in there so everything went back nice and neat. And then we tried to turn the ignition key. And then again, nothing. And we both stared at each other like, oh. So I was like, do you know what? Maybe potentially, it could be just as simple as a fuse. So off we go, hunting underneath. Found the fuses, checked all these, all perfectly fine. Right, there must be a big master fuse. So crawling underneath this side of the bike, just under here, well, inside there is the master fuse. Now, surprisingly, the master fuse was actually all right, and I was like, do you know what, we've just blown that. We've done something by changing the battery or messing around with it, or something's happened and it's blown the master fuse and it was my fault. But no, there is power going to the master fuse. So we've got good battery power, obviously brand new battery. We tested that, we've got current all the way up to the master fuse. That means that me and Darren stared at each other again and went, uh-oh. So I think potentially, and I think Darren thinks the same, that it's either an ignition switch because it's completely dead and we've got power coming all the way up somewhere in here, or potentially the kill switch. But putting both on, messing around and not messing around with it, kind of indicates maybe towards that way. Now, as you can imagine, that's a little bit annoying, isn't it? Just before you go to sell a bike. And the one thing I want to do is 100% make sure this bike is going to be good and reliable. It's been fantastic for me. It's never let me down, and it's been awesome until the moment I go to sell it. Maybe it's a sign, maybe it's not a sign, who knows? But what I do know is because I'm so ridiculously busy, and people use it as an excuse, I appreciate that, but because I have a very large family, I try and spend as much time with as possible. A job outside of the YouTube world that just is all consuming as well. And then this, I don't generally have much time left in the calendar, and I was like, I want this bike sold and I want to move on to the next. So I've had to make that decision that nobody likes to make, and that's, well, let someone else fix it, of course, at my cost. Get this bike to a garage and get it sorted. But I'm going to go one step further. I'm not just going to get them to fix it, I'm going to get them to sell it. But part of doing that means that one, I'm going to lose obviously more money because I have to pay somebody to fix it, and also have to pay someone to sell it because there's obviously costs involved in this. But most places aren't going to want all of my accessories on it. So I'm going to start removing some of my accessories, but leaving some of them on, like the 4K camera and the lights in the front for the new owner. Take the bags off, take the SP Connect charge, basically. Potentially take off the Thunderbox, but I might leave that on because that battery is a pain up the butt to get to. What means when anybody wires anything upon to this, they'll be good. Because whoever buys this, I want them to enjoy it and have a nice, easy life. But yeah, as you can imagine, just before selling this bike, it's the last thing in the world that you want. And then you sit there and go, "John, I don't want to start stripping stuff off and checking more. I just don't have the time." So it's time right this second for me to put on my gear, saddle up and ride out. Well, I'm off to the garage to have a chat. And the reason why I want to physically go there, because I want to explain the situation with the bike, what I want them to do, and also have my diary on me to get a clear understanding, because there's one garage that I use for my MOTs and bits and bobs that I can't do or get the sidekick to do, and that's Spender's Motorcycles, and they do sale and return on bikes. So I thought, you know what would be quite good to go and have a chat, because it is a bit high mileage with a 45,000 etc, and maybe it's not something that they're interested in. So instead of just ringing up, I thought a nice ride out on the bike, it's a beautiful sunny day, let's get that done. So I'm going to go and have a quick word with them, and I'll report back exactly what they've got to say. But hopefully they can book me in, collect my bike, fix it, make sure it's spot on for the next owner, and also sell it to the next owner. Wouldn't that be nice? Hey, I just want to stop this video to tell you about some of the latest deals going on at AliExpress right now, because if you're interested in motorcycle travel and you're looking to get in some soft side panniers, then they have you absolutely covered, because these incredible side bags are perfect and fit to go, because they're going to be massive, giving you an incredible amount of storage. Now, these bags are Chemimoto, they're fully waterproof, you can chuck them on super easy, and so many straps to fully adjust for any bike adventure that you're on. You might be thinking, well, what about the back of the bike? What about when I'm traveling, something easy to put on and put off? Basically, the best of a back box that you can take off and really, really use. Well, have you ever thought about Rhino Walk? Because Rhino Walk are also for sale on AliExpress, and they do a whole load of different sizes, and they are literally the perfect travel companion. The best thing about this bag is it compacts down really nicely, but it just all zips together, and once you've done that, you'll get a nice strong structure, making this bag just perfect to go on the back of your bike, and it will strap down to anything. And things get even better with AliExpress, because they've given me a whole load of discount codes just for you, meaning the more money that you spend, if you want to buy this entire setup, the more money that you will save, plus many of the other items over on AliExpress. And it gets even better, because you can join my own fans page over on the app, where you can get 10% cash back as well. So you're going to save and get 10% cash back, and if you're new, you'll get 5% on top of that as well. It's a win-win situation. AliExpress for all of your biking needs. So I just want to say a massive thank you to AliExpress for sponsoring this video. Now it's time to jump back to the action. Well, this is random, because the shop's closed, and the sign over there says to email them, it just says shop closed. The website says that it's open today. Now, I've been coming here for years, and I know the guy that owns the place, and he's awesome. So maybe they've had some sort of family emergency. It's a very small shop, and they've had to shoot off. So I'll have to check in another day. Oh, 000. But that doesn't change things, because I'm pretty sure I can get all that sorted. But this is just one of those few days of disaster after disaster after disaster. Well, with all that said and done, it's time to talk through a few other things that's going on. And hopefully all that will work out. Well, kind of one of those things hasn't already. Let me find the perfect spot for us to have a further chat. Hopefully that will go well. Well, I thought, do you know what? I know the perfect place where I can chill and we can have a chat. Now, many years ago, that bench over there, I used it in the video. I sat there and had some thoughts, I think about a bike I was reviewing, or something I was doing at the time. And well, that bench is a little bit like my last couple of days, isn't it? Collapsing and falling apart and just not working out in any way whatsoever. Well, I'm not going to lie and pretend that I'm all happy at the minute, because as you can imagine, things are a little bit annoying, or at least frustrating, because I was generally hoping I was going to video me changing the battery on the Africa Twin, giving it a really good clean, getting it up for sale and putting it out there and getting it sold and moving on. And of course things cause delays that cause more hassle and more time, and you do get frustrated. And then today I was like, do you know what, it doesn't matter, I'll jump on the mighty scrambler, I'll bomb over and I'll get it organised. And obviously something's happened. It's the way life goes. And I generally hope, because I know that, like I said, I know the guy who owns it, I generally hope everything is all right, and I will check in there later. And if not, I'll check in tomorrow and it will be fine. But you know, when you're just like, come on, really? Just before you're about to sell a bike, things go wrong that's going to cost money and time. But at least I know it'll be right for the next owner. So anyway, I wanted to try and find this place and sit down and have a chat. I want to tell you about a couple of other things. Now, the next bucket list adventure, the next big adventure, one of the things I had planned was to go and do the Route 66 in the USA next. That was my biggest plan. I was like, this is going to be awesome. We'll fly into Chicago, we'll grab a massive pizza, we'll get some Harleys, and we'll ride, not do the whole thing, but we'll get to Las Vegas. I'll put on a £1 bet, win £1 million, and then I'll come back and life is going to be awesome. Well, I've sat down with my co-host on the adventure coming up, and me and Paul sat there and we looked at the flights and the costs, and I reckon minimum, right, minimum £7,000, a minimum for us to get our flights in and get our bike hire and potential hotels. And I reckon it might cost more than that, because I do not want to do it cheap. So I was like, do you know what, right now, right this second, with everything going on and other stuff that's in the pipeline, I just haven't got that kind of, disposable income to spend on that trip. So we've kind of had to put our heads together and come up with all sorts of stuff. And we've looked at places like Botswana, and we've looked at, where else have we looked at? Mongolia. We looked at Mongolia and hiring bikes, but then it turns out it's going to be like -4 when we're looking at going. So I have come up with a plan, and it is an awesome plan, and I think we've agreed on this awesome plan because I want to go to a place where, well, let's just say it's not really seen a lot on the world of YouTube. Something a bit different and unique that will make people go, oh, this could be interesting. Anyway, as I'm walking up and down this mud track, staring at a bench that I was supposed to be sitting on, giving you this cinematic scene. I'm going to get back on the Africa Twin, and let's just keep riding through it. Let's blast the cobwebs off. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to jump on it. I'm going to give you a proper show of the awesomeness of this bike. Let's get rid of all this stress and all this stuff, and then I'll tell you about one more other thing that I'm hoping we'll see some more of on the channel, hopefully before the big event, if that makes sense. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let me give you that moment that you need sometimes. That moment of just, you know what, I just need to ride and just let everything go and just chill and not get frustrated or angry or upset or start crying in any way.
Lost in the woods, under dust, and the fairies found me. And they led the way, they cleared the way to my heart. All the hurt, all the pain under the skin, I had fainted. and they carried me. They clear the way to my heart. Thank you to magic for rescuing me. Thank you to summer for fairies. Blowing glitter in the wind. I had fallen head first into love with another complete stranger, and he robbed away, taking most of me when he left. When mama told me to keep far from these underhanded men, and I'd be white, whiter than the side of a new wed bride.
Well, after that little blast on the bike, do you know what? Blown away some of the cobwebs. I've decided to go for a non-alcoholic beer at one of my favourite places to stop, right next to this lovely, beautiful river stroke stream style thing. So let me grab that and I'll tell you a little bit more about some other stuff that's going on. Well, I've got a top lock ale from the pub, and do you know what? I'm going to enjoy this. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about is the upcoming charity event that's coming up in the end of August, I should say, beginning of September, I believe that's yes, that is right. My brain is everywhere. So I've chased up Mikey, bless him, with a message to ask him what's going on with the bike. He said that he's going to be ordering some parts this week, start working on it in his evenings, bless him, and then hopefully he'll send me the footage. So within the next week or two, I'm really hoping that we'll get some footage and we can have a proper update on it. Everything's going according to plan, everybody involved, and there's so many people joining in. It's absolutely insane. So massive positive on there. We've already raised over £270, so thank you everybody that's donated. I will leave a link down in the description because it's just awesome to see that going up. My turtle outfit has arrived. It's just really hilarious, and obviously the cover for the helmet as well has also arrived. Plus I've got a mascot that I've been given to take with me on the adventure, and things just get more and more funny. But it has been humbling how many people have messaged me to say they want to get involved. We've got people like Twist and Go, obviously Paul, you've got so many. It's just absolutely insane. And you know what, I think there's going to be quite a few of us heading down raising money, so I'm hoping, my fingers are all crossed. We're over 270. I'm hoping we'll actually hit about £1,000 to donate towards the Rainbow Trust Children Charity for seriously ill children, to support them and their families. I'm hoping, if I'm right, we can raise over £1,000 before we even leave. That would be mind-blowing, because then as we go, hopefully more of you will want to donate and we can get that total so far up we can celebrate in proper style. But all the organisation outside is going well. I'm just waiting for this footage from Mikey and I can give you an update with the bike and we'll see exactly what he's doing with it. Now, I haven't been doing sort of vloggy videos for a long time because it's all been like bike reviews and epic series, and I was like, you know what, I want to get a little bit back to my roots, tell you all what's really going on behind the camera in regards to things that work, things that don't work. A few days like this, where things just seem to be going wrong, one after the other, one after the other. Now, I bet you're all dying to know where the next bucket list adventure is, and that's going to be being filmed at the beginning of October time. And yeah, it's not Route 66, 100% not Route 66 now. I don't want to tell you where it is. I want you to guess in the comments. All I'll say is that it's the country's a home of one of the most oldest and most popular selling motorcycles in the entire world. Now think about that and let me know what you think in the comments. Now this brings me on to the sort of last subject of the day, and that's about bike choices. Now the last video I put out and I said I want to know exactly what you guys think I should buy next, and I came up with 3 bikes that I'm generally massively interested in: the CRF 300 Rally, a Speedmaster that I want to do some long sort of haul cruises and stuff on. Then I was talking about taking a Bonneville T100 and sort of trying to transform it into a bit more of a I don't know, a big trip sort of bike, especially when I know that my beautiful wife, Ladyhead Abby, would be happy to go on the back of. And I had a lot of replies, and some of them were quite interested. For example, I have test ridden a lot of new press bikes and I loved many of them, and some of you said, why don't you buy this? And I'll be honest, part of me is going, do you know what? I really fancy buying the Vogue 625 DX and taking it from brand new and having it for a year and seeing how it does and taking it on some epic adventures. It has been something that's been going over and over in my head, and I might go down that route. People have suggested some of the others. I massively liked things like the bee that's flying around me. No, I don't really like that. The Morbidelli, I mean, that was just awesome as well. There's potential there. There's so much choice in there. When you're going to pick what you want to do next, there is so much choice. Now I've got more bees flying around me than a honeypot. What the heck? A honeypot. Does that make sense? Anyway, one of the things I quite like the idea of is this whole trail riding thing. I like the point of going back to bare bones, doing some awesome trails here, but then going across into places like the Pyrenees and doing some awesome trails there and seeing what's out there and what's crazy and nuts. I've had a few offers of people wanting to come with me and do some of that stuff as well. So it is tempting to sit there and go, do you know what? I'll just pick up, you know, a Vogue 300 Rally or a CRF, and we're going to start doing those sort of things. Well, I keep adding on more and more choices about what I'm going to buy next, and I think, Joe, it's going to be an interesting one because I generally don't know. I want to do them all, and I've not got the room or the finances to have all that in the garage and all the insurances and stuff involved. Oh, I don't know. Which one should I go for? I like every idea that pops into my head, and that is the biggest problem. Anyhow, I'm going to finish off this beautiful ale. Of course, it's non-alcoholic, 100%. I'm going to take a ride back round past the garage just in case they've popped out to deliver a bike or something and they are actually open, see if I can get that conversation done. And then I'm going to head back, probably cry a little bit that I've not got any of the stuff I wanted to get done today, and then move on to tomorrow. Right, back on the bike. Well, with that most refreshing non-alcoholic beer done, it's time to fire up the Quattro. And let's take the slightly longer way back and go back past the garage just for the sake of, just in case, and means I get to hang out my bike for a little bit longer before I need to get back and get on with the other bits that I'm avoiding doing. Power! Woo!
Close your eyes, hear the voice within calling. This heavy load got under your skin, howling. You got the white knuckles holding on it tight, keeping your feelings bottled up inside, heading for a collision in the night. To really live, you gotta die. Breathe in, breathe out. Hey, come alive. Breathe in, breathe out. Look at the colors, colors, colors around. Moments pass, make this one count. Untie. You're so good at dragging yourself down. Why? Well, there ain't much time left to figure